Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Travis, and today we're working on this 650 horsepower 12 valve Cummins swap 1950s Rio Big Rig. And today we have to figure out a few things. We have to figure out a bed situation. We have the bed. We have to get it level and mount it to the frame. And we have to figure out a cooling system and a few other odds and ends to get this thing ready for the duct tape drags in, less than a month now. All the parts on the engine to make it put out 650 horsepower have been done to it. I rebuilt the transmission with power-driven diesel 650 horsepower transmission kit. All the parts from the engine also came from power-driven diesel. If you're looking for any parts for your 12 valve Cummins or even your Duramax or Power Stroke, definitely give them a call because they're really knowledgeable people with quality parts. I can't stress that enough. I love quality, good parts, and that's what they have. And if you want to know all the parts I put on the engine and everything I did to the transmission to make it put out 600 horsepower, I'll have a list of everything from power-driven diesel down in the description box of the video, just in case. I don't have time to go over every single thing right now. That's some videos back at this point. Like I said, we have to get the bed hard mounted to the frame. We're gonna have to put the radiator back here and run lines to the front somehow because there is 0% room up here for a radiator. I even for a moment considered a radiator up front above the intercooler, like right here. Let's see. Like in this area, but this is just too small. I just don't think, I mean, that's like a little itty bitty mini truck radiator. I mean, that's not gonna cool enough for a 12 valve. Especially if you're gonna be running it hard, running it down the strip and driving it on the street and stuff. You gotta have a big radiator. But right now, what's stopping us from getting this bed perfectly level is a few things. So we're hitting right here. These mounts are hitting on both sides of the bed, hitting the frame. And then we also have these bolts for the shackles for the differential. For the differential, the leaf springs. They're hitting, so we're gonna have to take something out there. Just as a quick recap, in the previous video I did on this truck, we did everything to the back end that we needed to do. We got a drive shaft made. We got the rear spring perches welded to the differential. You can see right there, I had to cut them and move them. We took a bunch of the leaf springs out. I got the brakes working, so now we have brakes. Everything back here was messed up. Got ourselves a rubber line and had to make these fit, the lines. One of them was too long. I had to take one of the shock mounts and then turn around and mount it back here because this rear end had both mounts mounted forward like this. So this one was fine, but this one had to be moved. I bought new shocks for it. And something that a lot of people mentioned in the last video, remember I took a bunch of the leaf springs out right here and only left like the top two. I took out both stacks of the majority of the leaf springs and I put them over here. Because remember, this is like a 3/4 ton truck, so there's probably like 60-70 pounds of leaf springs here. It's just a lot. I did that for two reasons. One, they're really, really heavy and I'm trying to make the truck kind of as light as I can. And two, with all those leaf springs and how rigid they were, the back end was sitting up like really, really high, and I wanted it to sit a little bit lower because the whole truck was tilted like this. But because we took all those leaf springs out, we got rid of a lot of the rigidity, and what people brought up in the comments, which is a totally legitimate concern, is that you're gonna have axle wrap. So in high horsepower applications, when you hit the gas, instead of the truck doing this, the rear end will flex upwards, and you don't want that. It gives you traction problems. It's not good for the U-joints on the drive line. You can bend stuff, warp stuff, break stuff, lose traction. It's not good. It gives a whole host of problems. So there's three solutions to stop axle wrap and to keep everything rigid. One of them is a 4-link rear suspension. A 4-link suspension is the most expensive, most time consuming, most fabrication involved, but it also gives you the most adjustment on like the rigidity of your suspension and how you want the suspension to act, like for street or for race. Well, I don't have the time or the money or the patience for a 4-link. I'm not that dedicated of a racer. Remember, look, I'm an amateur. Does this look like, a professional? I'm just doing this because I want to do it. A second option people use is what you call ladder bars. It's another traction control type device that goes on both sides, and that requires some fabrication and welding and all that good business, which is possible, but there is a third option called Cal tracks. And Caltracs mount on your factory leaf springs and rear end U-bolts to stop axle wrap. And from everything I researched, Caltracs are the most affordable, least invasive, least time consuming, most bolt-on way to, you know, keep your traction under control in medium to sort of high horsepower applications. So the whole issue arises back here when you try and put a lot of torque through the drive shaft and you put a lot of rotational force on it when you're stopped and you're trying to go. The drive shaft is trying to turn and pull you forward, and all that power gets transferred to the differential to move the tires. But instead of the rear end moving like this, it will move you forward, but it will also go up like that, and it'll sort of kink these two. There's actually videos online of this happening, but it's an undesirable effect. And it'll bend your leaf springs because that's the U-bolts go right over that. So it'll bend and twist and torque your leaf springs. But anyway, that's the route I decided to go. I don't have them yet, but you know, they're in the mail. They're like $450, which I'm not saying that's like fiddlesticks money, but the problems that it helps to stop and the seemingly bolt-on application of it, that it seems to be a good bang for the buck. So I should be able to put a level here, right? And the bubble is to the back. I don't know how well you can see on camera, but ever so slightly the bed is like that, and it just is not right to the truck. And you know, you put a level on here, see the bubbles towards the back. So if we extend this out, right, and we move the back of the bed down, we'll get to level. And what I'm hoping is that once we get to level, see, I put one of these in here. So these bars were across the bottom and they were bolted to the bottom of this thing. And the bed was real crazy high. So I'm hoping, because I know this is level all the way down. If we lower this and this bar is touching the frame with this on top, we could kind of just weld these to that, bolt this to the frame, and be fast. I mean, it wouldn't be too hard. All right, so I'm looking at the level right here, and I'm gonna lower this. We're going down just ever so slightly. Oh, we're kind of, let's see. See, like right now we're almost home. That looks, it's about level right there. So looking at the way this bed's sitting, looking at how high the fender is off the tire, I think that we have it. I think this is pretty good. I think that it's going to be the best option to just take these and just weld them to this rail right here that goes along the bottom, 4 of them. Drill some holes through the bar and the frame, bolt them down on either side. I think we'd have it. And for this, because the frame goes down and then you have this hanging out sort of in midair, I still have these that I cut off the frame. They're the original bed mounts. We can just set these where we want them and weld them on, and then you'll get your height from these. Been working on this most of the day now, and the bed is officially mounted. It's pretty sturdy. So these rails come across, and then I got one bolt on each side bolted to the frame, and then one going through here. I was going to weld these, but I decided to bolt them so you could remove them. Coming more towards the back, frame, bed, and then here I reused the original 2nd gen truck mounts that I cut off, and I re-welded them because this is what gave it the height. See how the frame goes down right here? To get the equal height of the rear of the frame, they use these. So I just re-welded them where I wanted them for this, bolted them. So the bed is secured. It's on. And it looks good, it looks proportional, it looks straight and flat. It's not, you know, tilted or whatever, it fits. So I'm happy with that. Now we can try to put the radiator up in there somehow, and once we get the radiator mounted, well, we'll see what happens after that. So somewhere in here. Oh wow, it's a little higher than I thought. That's okay. Something like that. Whoops, this is flipped around the wrong way. Pick it up. Yeah, like that.
Silly question. Well, you're not going to have this shroud on there anyway, are you?
Yeah, I have to have an overflow bottle. I mean, I guess you could mount that somewhere else, but...
You're going to mount the fan over here.
No, I wasn't. I was going to mount it. I think it's a push fan, not a pull fan.
Oh, push fan.
I was just going to leave this shroud on here because it has the overflow bottle. You have to have an overflow bottle.
Yeah.
I'm sure people are going to be wondering about that fan's ability to cool this because there's no airflow back here. But you have to think, when you're sitting in traffic with the air conditioner on, you're not moving, and the only thing cooling it is a fan. You're not going down the road, so what's the difference? It may try to get warm, it may not, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but you got to think about all that pipe you're going to have run underneath there. That's all going to act as a cooling effect. I mean, if you're absolutely worried about it, put another bar here and move it back to here.
I'm not. It's okay right there.
I think it'll. I think it'll cool.
Okay. I kind of tend to think so too. With the size of that radiator, with pipes running from the back to the front that are also going to be dissipating heat as the coolant travels under the truck, plus the fan, it's no different than you sitting at idle and your mechanical fan is cooling you at idle with your AC on and all that. So why wouldn't this work? So there's rubber pegs at the bottom there that I want to utilize because from the factory it was just sat in metal. The rubber was sat in metal holes, and then it was held in up top with some tabs. So what we're gonna have to do is just make up some metal tabs, nut and bolt this, and then let the bottom sit in some holes, you know, and it'll be okay. You'll have your rad mounted.
You have a washer that's big enough to fit from here to here, you know? You can just,
Oh, I see. Like just a big washer you could maybe weld to that?
Yeah, just set it in.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Like I know they sell.
We'd have to take one of those rubbers off. I don't have a washer that big, I don't think. We'll just have...
They sell like big fender washers.
Right.
You know, that are pretty good size.
I see. Just like take a big old giant washer that has a hole the size of that rubber,
yeah,
and put it over that. Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. Okay, I'm back from the store, and I got two 7/8 washers that fit pretty snug and good over these rubber pegs. And we'll set it down on this bed rail, see where the middle is, mark it, weld the washers to it. And...
yeah.
All right, so hold that up. Where's my tape measure?
4.5, so we need to move it.
Your way?
My way, 1/2 inch. Okay, now you should be 4 inches.
Yeah, that's 4.
Yeah. Ready?
Yeah.
Hook it to that top bolt on the radiator.
It's rubber. Oh.
I'm just kidding. Hook it to that radiator cap.
All right, so let's go ahead and set this in again. Should be good. That's what it should sound like. That's a strong, nice weld. Boy, that's probably some of my best work. The radiator is fully mounted. It's mounted down there in the rubber pegs and the washers that are welded to the cross rail. Made these brackets a little more pretty, cut off the hard edge, rounded them off a little bit with the grinder, and so it just looks better and it's not just a sharp, because you're going to be walking past this all the time. You're going to catch on that, and you could get sued for that. You know what I mean? A little kid goes past that, scrapes his head, you're cooked. So I made them look a little better. So it's in, solid. not going absolutely anywhere. And this is probably some of my best work. Look at those welds. Oh well, I think they look good. It's gonna hold it. All right, it's the next day now, and we got a few other things to try and accomplish here. I got the stack sort of mounted up, and you would say, well, shouldn't it be like over here more? Yeah, I know what you're saying, but 4-inch pipe is pretty hard to bend. It's not like 1.5, 2-inch pipe that you can just do whatever with. It's pretty big, all right, for one. The whole pipe is gonna be that thickness, or that diameter. And if you move it over anymore, you're gonna hit the frame rail. And if you move it further than that, you're on the opposite side of the frame. And you can't really do that because if you take this down pipe that has to be mounted to the turbo and you put it here, and then you try to twist it to go here, it doesn't really fit. And two, your tire isn't going to be able to turn all the way because that pipe is going to stop it from turning. The only place for that pipe to go is this way, which is on the inside of the frame rail. That's it. That's all you got. You don't have any other option. So the pipe has to go here. Two, we still haven't ran our coolant lines from the back to the front. So those, I'm assuming, are probably going to have to go on the outside of the frame rail or something of that sort. So that's where it kind of has to go. In other news, I can't believe I got them this fast, but I got my cow tracks. I ordered them on like Monday and it's Wednesday. They didn't even tell me it was coming and it's here already. So let's open these up and maybe we can put them on. Oh, we got these peanuts everywhere. These things, peanuts go everywhere. So I got the frame jacked up. I got the leaves off the rear end so they can come down so I can do this bushing. I don't know why they do stuff like this, but there's a regular nut on one side, but the other side is like a one of these. Oops. One of these star bits. So alright, so there's that. I may have to jack this frame up just a little bit higher, but we got it though. So far, not too bad, not too bad. So it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's easier to do these when they're on the ground. But you know what makes it really, really hard, which I'm glad I don't see this in this one, is some bushings have a metal ring around it. So let me show you this. So the bushing will have this metal eyelet where the bolt goes, rubber, and then it'll have a very thin metal ring around it, and that's all in the hole. And typically when you press them out, you'll get this part out, but that metal ring still stays in here, and getting that out is a real pain. A lot of hammer and chisel, and no real good efficient way. But anyway, this one doesn't have anything else in there. It's just a blank hole. So that made things a lot easier. Now that we have the old bushing out, this is the new pivot bushing, because this is made to rotate inside. And then they want you to put grease around this and around this, put it in there, and then put the rear pivot assembly on. Okay. So the Caltrac traction control bars are officially installed, and I have to say I'm pretty impressed with how they went on, because I've gotten kits before. I've been through this a million times, and I'm sure you have too. You'll get a kit and nothing quite fits right. It's close, and something like this that's supposed to fit perfectly round over the diameter of the tube, it won't fit, because different rear ends have different diameter tubes. But this fit perfectly over the rear end. These could have been drilled wrong for the U-bolts, but they were drilled right. Everything went as it should. The bushings that go on the back of the leaf spring could have not worked, could have been the wrong size, whatever, but they fit. These bars could have been a foot too short or a foot too long, and you're sitting there asking, what in the heck is this? Who is this kit for? I ordered it for my truck. Why does nothing fit? But everything fit exactly like it should. For 450 bucks and probably 4 hours of my time, I think that is a pretty good kit. So kudos to Caltrac for a good kit. Now I may have to play with the adjustment, since both ends of the rod have a threaded like Heim joint in them. You can turn the rod and actually adjust your preload on the spring. So I may have to play around with that a little bit. I'll set it at like the baseline tune, if you will, and just run with that for now. But anyway, let's see what Dad's doing. He's been helping me today too. So if you guys remember, every single episode of this, you've seen this headlight, and it was bashed in right here. It had a big old cave right in the driver's side, and Dad has spent the day banging it out to where it's pretty round, and it's coming out really, really good. Right here, let's see, where's over here? It was just caved in. I mean, it had a big old knock in it. So Dad spent the day banging this back out. I had another one of these headlight holders, because this is what the original one looked like. He pop riveted this back together. We're getting the headlight. Well, he actually made new headlight adjusters out of steel nuts and everything, because the plastic ones were trashed. So he's been working on this like literally all day long so that we can put a headlight in it. So this is coming out pretty good. We're almost ready to set this back on. So today's mission is to get the gas tank mounted in the truck, and we need to get this thing to the exhaust shop so we can get a coolant system and our pipe fixed up here. So the gas tank is how I'm going to work this. The gas tank, the lid is on top, but the mounts are on the bottom. So how they kind of want you to mount it is like this, but I don't want to mount it like this because I'm going to put a piece of plywood in here, and it's going to render the bed useless if you have the 10-gallon tank just sitting right up top. It's just going to be stupid. I want it sort of down low. So the only real good place to mount this is right here. It's too wide to mount there because I think it's going to be too close to the drive shaft, and there's really no structure for me to mount it over there. So my theory is to get the bolt pattern and drill holes in this brace, and then put all thread from the top down through the bottom of the tank there, and then I'm going to use this angle iron to structurally kind of hold it. And then I got these fittings. These are the dumbest fittings on this tank, I swear. I had to go all the way across town to get these from American Hose and Rubber. So these are 5/8 flared fittings, and that's how they go. But we have to get to a hose barb. That was the hard part, getting from a flare fitting to a hose barb. And plus, this is a really big fitting. It's 5/8. So it's kind of it's kind of a specialty thing. I was able to get it done. And I'm glad this gas tank came with two, because one's going to be our feed, one's going to be our return. No problem there. So I got all the holes drilled in this cross member. I got the all thread through. I put the gas tank up preliminarily. It does fit. I marked out this hole where the filler cap is. We'll cut this out before we mount it up permanently. Well, that didn't go half as bad as I thought. The gas tank is officially in. Cut my hole up top. It's already full of diesel. Alright, we got our all thread going down to the bottom. We got our pieces of angle iron to kind of strengthen, because I don't really trust those tabs. I don't trust any of that. So cut up some angle, drilled some holes, bolted it up. I feel like that's good. Cut my hole for the fuel sender, which I don't have a provision for that in the cab right now, but whatever, may use it in the future. Plumbed it up, got our fittings on the tank, hoses ran to the frame. It's kind of cool, I didn't have to do anything to the fuel lines that were on the truck themselves, because by shortening the frame 29 inches, it actually brought the fuel line 29 inches further to the back. So all I had to do was a couple of hoses, and I primed the front already, so because there's air in the lines, you know, when I opened it up after I filled it with diesel and everything, I opened up the front bleeder up on the fuel filter housing and bled it, and yeah, I think it's all right. I think we could start it now. Okay, I have the trailer set up over there. I'm going to attempt to start this and drive it on the trailer, but we're going to have to be quick, remember, because we don't have a cooling system. But, you know, everybody always gets mad at me. It grinds their gears when I start something that doesn't have water in it, but it's full of oil, and you can run it for it's not gonna hurt it for a minute or two. It's not gonna hurt the engine, I promise. It's loaded up, it's strapped down, ready to go to the exhaust shop. It's Friday, so won't see this for a few days, and hopefully next time you see it, it'll be a lot closer to being done. So it's about a week and a half later. I'm here at Kenny's Exhaust Works down here on Fort Lowell. If you guys ever need exhaust on any of your vehicles, you should really come here to Exhaust Works. They're really good dude. Kenny and another gentleman that works here, really awesome. They just finished up the Rio. We're gonna get it home and we're gonna look at it a little closer. I saw it while it was here, but I want to show you guys when we get home. But yeah, I just wanted to show you the business, Kenny's Exhaust Works. This shop is great, do great work, fair prices. So let's go ahead and get this Rio home. We'll take a look at it. We got to finish this thing up. They ran the 4-inch pipe from the turbo to the stack, and they also ran my water pipe. So let's get the Rio back up in the shop. I'll show you what Kenny at Exhaust Works did a really great job. And we're gonna keep tying up loose ends. Duct tape drags is coming up, man. It's right on my tail. So quite a bit's been done to this since you've seen it last. Like I said, I had to set an appointment for the exhaust shop, so in the meantime, I was able to do a little bit of wiring before I sent it off. Kenny did a really good job on this. So you can see he had to take the down pipe, cut it, rotate it, and weld it in multiple places to get it to fit the frame and the cab. And he also ran my water pipe from one inlet, made the bends going down, got this one, made the bends that go down this side of the frame. You can see they come in the wheel well, and instead of welding them all together, which would make it a hassle to take apart if you ever had to, like, say, take the engine out or you wanted to replace something, they're held with rubber. So I'm gonna have to actually get some hose clamps for these, which is not a big deal. Hose clamp those together before we put the water in it, but they come down the frame. Ran them right under here, some more hoses. So you can repair it if you need to. You can take sections out. Then he had them coming to the back. One goes to one inlet of the radiator, the other one goes across to the other side.
It's going to take a lot of antifreeze.
Yeah, I'm going to add quite a bit of weight and water. One question that's been pressing is, like, is the water pump going to flow the water from the front to the back because it's so long now? And the answer is we don't know. We hope it does, because we don't really have a lot of time to put an inline electric water pump in to help push the water. I guess you could if you had to, but I'm really hoping that I don't have to and that it just works. I don't have any scientific explanation or research. I'm just gonna have to do it and try it. I was able to get the headlights wired up, running lights wired up. We got signals. We got brights and dims. I just got some cheapy trailer lights from O'Reilly and just made a bracket, bolted them to the bed, wired them up. You know, I mean, again, I don't have the time to find like cool old 50s something or other tail lights that match the look and everything. It's like, it's what we had to do, don't have time. Dad also helped me out big time by wiring up a charging system. So we got wires coming from the alternator, we got key on power, we got battery wire, we got voltage regulator, we got key on power wire. This is a external voltage regulator for Chrysler, Dodge pickups and cars from like 70s and the 80s. This is just a universal voltage regulator for Chrysler that you can wire up to the alternator. So that's what we did, just put an old school external voltage regulator on it, and they're not complicated to wire up. You can look up wiring diagrams online. It's literally like 3 wires. It's not super hard. You have to have a key-on power source, you have to have 2 wires coming from the back of the alternator to the regulator, and you have to have a battery wire. This hooks straight up to the battery. And now it charges. So it's been a few hours now. We've been working on this. I haven't filled it with water yet, but I'm about to, because I wanted to actually mount these pipes to where they weren't just flopping around. So I put a clamp here to hold it, and I hose clamped all the hoses that didn't have clamps. And then you come under here. I put two clamps on the pipe, and then I bolted it together to keep them close. And then I drilled and tapped a hole in the frame, mounted this, so they're nice and solid in here. Hose clamps, coming over to the back, clamped them together again, drilled and tapped a hole on the frame so they don't go anywhere. And then I utilized the hole that was already in this frame mount, or cab mount, and then I put 1 clamp on this pipe because all the clamps are on this one. So I put a clamp on this one, so now, yeah, they're all pretty sturdy. It's all clamped up, it's ready for water. Dad's also been working on hooking up the fan, the electric fan. Here's the relay, here's the circuit breaker, and then here's the fan right here. So Dad's not quite done wiring that up, but we're close, so I can still put water in it and see how much it takes, because I think it's gonna take a lot. I had one of these that, yeah, wasn't quite full. That was probably a half a gallon. Time.
Oh, there's something dripping.
Oh.
Is that heater hose?
I didn't, my bad. I couldn't find a bolt to block off that heater hose line, so that was my fault. All right, I plugged the hole up. So the cooling system took a little less than I thought. It took about 5 gallons, which, yeah, that's not too bad. I thought those pipes were going to make it take a ton more, but now we should actually, I've been checking for leaks. I had a few small drips that were just some loose hose clamps, but it's full of water. I aired it out up here. There's a fitting up here, up on the head, and I loosened it in case there was an air bubble and water came out. So I think we're full. Everything's wired up. Dad finished the wiring on the fan, so if the thermostat's working and the switches and stuff, the relays are working, the cooling system should do what it's supposed to do. It should cool on its own. We should see if it cycles correctly. So now we'll start it up for the first time and let it run, well, the longest that this engine's ran in a year. That's cool. Let it run for a little while and see if it cycles. Everything's looking good so far. We got about 200 degrees of exhaust gas temp, 0 PSI boost. We got about, what is that, 60 pounds of oil pressure. Water temp's already coming up. We got 115, 700 RPM. Got about 28 PSI of fuel pressure. I'm sure it's loud in here, but we're at about 160 for temperature. We're gonna take it on a little test drive. We're not gonna rip it because I have to do a retorque on the head bolts. I gotta get it through a heat cycle and do a retorque on the head bolts before I can lay into it real crazy. It's like a log wagon. Second. That's third. All the gears work, all the gears work. I built the tranny right. Woo! Yeah. All the gears work. Full manual valve body works right. Almost 200. Oh, the fan kicked on. Should see this go down. It may be cycling now. It's hard to tell. It's trying. Oh no, it did it.
Still a little bit above 200.
A little warm. So it's the next day now. It's Saturday. Have this truck parked. It was trying to overheat yesterday, and I've just been thinking all night about why is it overheating? How can we fix this? Because getting like an inline water pump it's expensive. Like one that just goes inline, like one you could put like right here. It's like $400, and you have to order it online. It's like crazy expensive. I'm trying to avoid doing that. So I'm just trying to think about this water and what's going on. But also, since we ran it through a heat cycle, I know that for sure because it was real hot yesterday. I need to retorque these head bolts before I forget or whatever, because when you torque the head bolts down and then you go through a heat cycle, things expand and contract, and then you retorque them to seat everything like permanently. So that's what I want to do right now. after the retorque, I want to work on the cooling system and see if something is what's up there. I don't know. Because a few things I thought about. One, the electrical system for the fan is working properly. As soon as the switch right here recognized 200 degrees, the fan kicked on. It did what it was supposed to do. So it was at 200 degrees, no doubt about that. One reason it could be overheating is the thermostat may not be working right. But I think the thermostat is working right because water was flowing out of the radiator. Here's my theory as to what's going on. What happens is when the thermostat opens, it pushes water out here and it pushes it out this pipe. So it goes out here and it comes back in at the bottom of the engine. It's coming up through this pipe. This is where it's entering. So what I think is going on is that the thermostat's working and it's pushing the water, and instead of the water going through the radiator and down through here back to the engine, which takes a lot of force, it's just coming up. I'm not 100% sure. But Dad's been thinking about, oh, Dad's got a toy for the baby.
Yeah, look at this, my prize of the day.
Oh, did you go to yard sales this morning?
Yeah, look at this.
The light is green. Let's go.
It's got a little signal thing. A little gear shifter?
Yeah.
Oh, it's got a street light. That's funny.
Look at there.
Oh,
Be careful.
it's got a horn. Oh, cool. A
Look
mirror
at the little mirror.
and a key.
Yeah.
Dude,
and
that's a
key.
car. That thing's a car.
Yeah.
Green light.
Nobody will get a kick out of that.
Sorry, it's going to my house.
Oh, it's going to your house?
Yeah.
For when she goes down there?
Yeah.
Well, we have some good news with the cooling system. So I got everything put back together. I bled the truck and I added some coolant in because we lost some yesterday, letting it come out of the radiator. The difference was when I filled it up this time, I thought we may have an air bubble. It's possible. So I took this off. I bled it right here. And the coolant went down quite a bit. And I did get water out of there finally. I put it all together, I filled it with coolant, and now it's doing what it should. We took it on a drive already, a pretty good one. Did a couple of small burnouts just to try it. And it'll do burnouts, I'll tell you that. Now we're at 170 right now. That's 170. The fan just kicked off. So when it hits 200, fan kicks on, the water is cycling, and it's gone through some cycles, and the fan kicks off. So the cooling system is good. The water, now we know, the water pump will pump water from the front to the back to the front. You just can't have any air bubbles. It's already went through like 3 or 4 heat cycles, so we got the coolant problem knocked. I'm happy with that. Well, I got good news and I got bad news. Got the Rio back up in the shop. So the good news is there was a big air pocket in the cooling system and it's working, and I'm very, very happy about that. That solves a whole host of issues. But the bad news is second gear quit working right. So I've taken it on a second test drive. First, second, third, fourth, lockup, everything was working perfectly. Second gear feels slushy. It feels like if you gun it, it will go, but it's not real solid. The second gear's not real solid at all. But that's the only gear that's doing that. Every other gear feels pretty good. Now we have to figure out why second gear's not working right. It was, so I know that I did do it right, but I don't know what happened. So there's a couple things I'm gonna try and do. I'm sure we're headed for a pan pull-off. I'm going to try and adjust this second gear band. One, I don't know, to readjust it and see if it's right. But two, if I can turn this in and just keep turning it in, because I know I adjusted it right when I put it in. I know I put it to where it should be. But what can happen is there's a bar in there that the servo pushes on that this is connected to. And if that bar that engages the second gear band bends, breaks, falls down in the pan, then your second gear won't engage. So what I'm also testing for is if I can screw this in, like if I can just screw it in and there's no resistance, then that means it's not going against anything and that something bent or fell out or whatever. But if this adjusts correctly, then we have another issue that we'll have to pull the pan and pull the valve body to fix, which I desperately don't want to do. So this is my one little Hail Mary before we get into this transmission. This 19 millimeter. See, I'm just turning that thing in. It's supposed to be 72 inch-pounds. So you can see the gauge moving. Let's see where it is. 0. 72 right there. And then you back it off a turn and 7/8 on the top. So that's 1. All right. Well, I don't know. Maybe that fixed it. I really don't know. So this is first. Second, it's not. Something's not right.
You're gonna pull that pan.
Well, it's time to do what I was trying to avoid. We have to take the pan off and see what's going on in there, see if we can find anything.
I don't care how you do it.
Here, there's one back here.
Are the spacers built
Back here.
onto this?
No.
Is there one up here?
There's 2 bolts, 2 spacers. I'm holding that bracket on.
I don't see that second. All right. Might be hot. You might need a bag of some sort.
Okay. Is that it?
To get it all over here.
Give me me see.
I don't think that's nothing. That's the top off of a bottle.
Oh. So this was in the pan, but this looks just like foil.
How'd that get in there?
From a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't imagine that's why second gear ain't working.
I can't imagine that got in there. No, that's not why second gear's not working. I thought it was.
So we do have, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what that is. It's metallic. See that? I'm not 100% sure what that's coming from. I mean, is that enough to mess up a gear? I don't know.
That's a piece of a leaf.
It doesn't look catastrophic. I just got the valve body set back on. I took the valve body off. There's holes in the case you can hit with air to actually force the transmission to engage the different gears, and if you hear like rushing air, you know that well, pressure's getting passed, fluid pressure's getting passed, and the second gear band works. It's working fine. I even checked the clutch material on the band, and the band looks beautiful. I thought maybe I didn't put it in tranny fluid and put it in dry and then burned it up before it even got going, but it looks great. I don't see anything wrong. I really don't know. Maybe the tranny got hot and second gear doesn't want to work. It was too hot. I don't know. All the other gears work fine. So I'm just gonna have to reassemble this and kind of just send it, you know. I'm out of time, man. As of now, it's Saturday. Duct Tape Drags is this coming Friday and Saturday. Hate to leave you guys on a cliffhanger, but the next time you see this truck, it'll be at the Duct Tape Drags. I'll make a video on it. Will I get second gear fixed? I don't know. I'm gonna try. If I can fix second gear, that's it. Cooling system, engine, everything is good to go. If I have to run it without second gear, I'll just have to run it without second gear. I mean, I have to send it. I'm going down the track either way. We did a lot of monumental lifting. Got the whole cooling system installed. Thank you to Kenny at Exhaust Works. If you have any kind of exhaust needs and you're in Tucson, go hit up at Kenny's Exhaust Works on Fort Lowell Road. Fort Lowell, he does great work, fair prices. Exhaust is hooked up, bed is on, Caltracs are on, wiring is done, headlights, taillights, brights, dims, signals, brakes, all that. We're pretty much legal beagle. I'm gonna call the guys at Power Driven Diesel on Monday and ask them if there's something that can be done, you know, if I'm missing something. Is it something in the valve body? Is it the clutches themselves? I have a hard time believing that. At this point, if it was something that required like a trans pull out, I'm not doing it. I just don't have the time. I'm not pulling the trans out right now. Also, we just hit 200,000 subscribers. Just hit it. Huge milestone. Thank you so much for the support. Been doing this for about 3 years now, full time for about 3 years. And I mean, it's an exciting milestone, 200,000 subscribers. All the flying drives and the rescues and everything, it's really cool. So thank you guys for all that support. And if you want to support the channel a little more direct way, you can pick yourself up a t-shirt at Theetravisb.com. I just restocked all the sizes that were out. I'm going to be bringing a lot to the Duct Tape Drags, and I don't know how many I'm going to sell there. So buy them now before the Duct Tape Drags happens, because I may be out of more sizes by the time that's over. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the build on this Rio. It's taken me exactly a year. I came away from Duct Tape Drags last year wanting to build something, and this is what I've came up with for this year, and it's taken me a year to do it. And this build is pretty much done. I mean, it's 99% there. The video I put out next week on this at Duct Tape Drags will probably be the last video I put out on this for a little while. You'll probably see it in the background. But anyway, guys, thank you again, and we will see you in the next one.